Welcome to the Eris report. My name is Daniel Fiverson. In this session, I want to talk about a unique event that's occurring regarding Eris. There's a one month long transit to Eris from the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and asteroid Vesta. Now, I've been talking about Pluto squaring Eris for a number of years now. You're probably familiar with it. It's been going on since 2017, and it's a last quarter square. Now, the last quarter square is a crisis in consciousness, a term coined by Dane Rudhyar, which is a crisis of awareness. It's the necessity to seek closure as we're 3/4 of the way through the cycle, and I need to close that cycle. It basically refers to that I know what I need to do, now I need to do it. And right now, the inner planets and asteroid Vesta are applying to this last quarter square, as well as Eris, as well as Pluto. So what do we know about Eris? She was named after the goddess of strife and discord. She was born from the void, from primordial chaos. Her mother was the night. She is fierce, brutal, and destructive. Her initial working name was Xena, warrior princess, which is an expression of the divine feminine. And Eris still holds this archetype. Like all archetypes, there's a light and there's shadow. And her light is that she's an activist. Her intention is to awaken our inner activist. She will fight for what is unfair and unbalanced. She is the voice of those who cannot speak for themselves, women, children, the natural world, and her primordial cousin, Gaia. Her gift is the ability to show us what is hidden deep within our psyche. Her discord shines a light on the shadow that is hidden within us so that it can be reintegrated. There's no negotiation with Eris. She's about sacred rage. She comes when there is a need, not necessarily when we are ready. So I'm going to run this animation for you. And you can see how these inner planets, Mars, Venus, Vesta, Pluto is not going to move too much, are going to square Eris down here. And you can see these aspect lines are 90-degree squares. It's the last quarter square. All these planets have come around. Eris takes 500 years to go around. All these guys are much, much faster than that, Pluto being the slowest at 248 years. So you can see how they're all moving. Mars and Venus move into Aquarius, but they're still an orb. Vesta moves into Aquarius. And at the same time, each of these inner planets and Vesta also conjoin Pluto. And you can see in these two charts that I have here, all of the dates at which this takes place. A couple of interesting things here to note is that there is a triple square on February 26th as Vesta, Mars, and Venus all square Eris at the same time. And that triple square is bracketed by Mars and Venus conjoining Vesta between the 25th and the 27th. So the dates from the 25th through the 27th are suggesting that there's going to be some very intense energies. Mars and Venus will also be a double conjunction here to Pluto on March 3rd. And this is an unusual year. Venus has just turned retrograde. Mars, which moves slower than Venus, has actually been moved past her a couple of weeks ago, and Venus has now caught up. And they had their conjunction a few days back, but they're going to remain in this tight conjunction for quite some time because Venus is still picking up speed. She's not up to full speed yet. So this is quite an impactful time. So what are we looking at? The conjunctions and squares involve Capricorn and Eris. They're cardinal signs. Cardinal signs get things going. Saturn, maybe have the reputation for kind of being stiff and stuck, but Capricorn generates things. Capricorn has to create. They're all creative in their own way. Capricorn creates structure and form. And with Pluto in Capricorn, what we're seeing is structured authority. Capricorn is known for suppression, for depression, for repression. So all these things are possible. Capricorn is also consensus, is consensus reality. So it's setting up the polarity between consensus and the rejection of consensus, especially as these planets move into Aquarius, which is the shattering of that consensus crystallization. Mercury is our narrative. Mercury is our intellect. We're probably all very familiar with that. It's the media and it's our narratives. But combined with Pluto, it can be outrage, it can be dissension and deception and hidden agendas and hidden narratives. Vesta is our authenticity, a sacred commitment to ourselves. The Vestal virgins were tasked with the responsibility to maintain the sacred fire. They were the only, besides Hades, the only god or goddess who had no temple built to them. The temple was the hearth itself, which was in everyone's home. But she was not, she was the hearth. She was not the fire. It's important to understand. Astrologically, we correlate fire to spirit. So she is the vessel that holds spirit, which is our authenticity, which is the part of us that comes from that which is much greater than ourselves. Authenticity is a two-edged sword. We saw it on last January 6th on the steps to the Capitol. Those people were expressing their authenticity. The vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, again, two versions of authenticity. We're going to see that polarized authenticity in the world for quite some time because people are finding themselves in one way or another. COVID has forced each of us to determine what is essential to us, and what's essential to you or me may not be what is essential to our neighbor. Venus is about relationships. So we could see some discussions about political liaisons. So we just saw a major political liaison between Russia and China just in the past couple of days, as the two of them formed an even closer bond. And this could be subverted or subversive desires. Venus is about desire. It's about our priorities and our values. So there's going to be emphasis and empowerment to all of these priorities, all of our values, all of our desires are all going to be in play. Mars is conflict, is war, is anger, it's impulsive action. But Mars is also our choices. Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. Pluto says jump, Mars says how high. Pluto being our deepest subconscious desires for who we are and the direction that we're going. And Mars are the conscious choices we make to get there. So again, this is a broad spectrum of expression, different for everybody, what they're going to choose and perceive to be important for their own personal growth. This is what we're passing through. But with Pluto, as the foundation to all of these aspects, all of these conjunctions and squares, it's going to add intensity and empowerment, and there'll be a lot of shadow work which will need to be done and will get done. It's a very, very powerful time. Eris is an expression of the divine goddess. She is bringing something that we need, but like I said, we're not always ready. She doesn't care that we're not ready. She thinks that she has determined the readiness and the time that it should be done. There's much more of this that you can read about in the forecast that I've just written and published on Amazon. It's pretty comprehensive. It's over 140 pages. And it covers all of the events that are happening or have happened since January through the year. It also has what's led up to this year, a discussion of what we've gone through that have brought us to the consequences that we're experiencing today. And also, where are we going? What does the future look like? What are the planetary aspects and situations down the road? And what can we expect from COVID? I discussed the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in detail. We talk about the Taurus-Scorpio nodal ingress that just happened and will be in play for the next 18 months. There are skipped steps, squares to the lunar nodes from Jupiter, Saturn, and Vesta. And Uranus, Hygeia, and Ceres will conjunct the lunar nodes. The Taurus and Scorpio eclipses that will occur in April and at the end of the year obviously quite intense because both Taurus and Scorpio, really are not superficial adventures, superficial explorers. We just finished the Venus retrograde. Venus retrograde will still be in play for the rest of this nodal transit because Venus retrograde is the ruler of the lunar north node, excuse me. And as such, that imprint will be stamped on the entire nodal cycle. Mars retrograde, we'll have 2 more this year. And I also spent some time talking about the Pluto return and the US Neptune opposition, which according to the Revolutionary War chart, which I use, are already in play. It would be hard to convince me that what we're experiencing now in the world around us is not this Pluto return and Neptune opposition. The book is available in ebook or paperback on Amazon. This is how you can find it. Obviously, you can't click on these links from this presentation, but just go to Amazon and put in my name, Daniel Fiverson, and they will come up. I encourage you to read it, and I would love to hear your feedback, any impressions or suggestions or comments that you might have about it. This is how you can reach me. I do consultations that help you feel your passion and find your purpose. That's why we're all here. Why am I here? Who am I? What are my lessons? I publish regular astrological weather reports on my website, forevolutionaryastrology.com, and on Facebook, Facebook.com/evolutionary astrology. You can also, again, search just on my name. And this is how you can reach me, Daniel @4evolutionaryastrology.com, and my phone number. I hope to hear from you. I enjoy speaking with you here on YouTube. I'd love to meet each one of you in a live space. Namaste. Be well, be safe, be truthful. Thank you.